everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jessica Gibson from Kaleidoscopes and Polka Dots, and today I am here to do a book review of As You Wish by Cary Elwes. If you're new to my channel, please be sure to subscribe. I make videos as often as I can, to be honest. Today, I wanted to talk about I wanted to talk about a book that I have been really thinking about since I stopped listening to it. Yes, I'm talking about an audiobook, the audio version of As You Wish. As You Wish is basically a compilation of stories of how The Princess Bride, the movie, came to be. It was basically the movie that wasn't meant to be, and then it was. It was the little engine that could, and finally did, because it was just that good of a story. And apparently it was one that didn't do too good in the box office, but yet it has an amazing following, mainly because of VHS. I thought that was pretty interesting, don't you? I highly recommend the audio version of the book because the contributions from the actors themselves seem so candid. There are 3 items in the book, shall we say, that I really liked. One is the amount of work that went into creating the most amazing sword fight in history, or something to that effect. I thought that was really telling both of the movie creators and the actors. I mean, the actors were just so dedicated. They took part in the sword fight themselves. They didn't have any stand-ins or whatever you call them. They did all the hard work, and it started from day one.
Back then, I knew who none of these people were, or indeed very much about sword fighting at all. I had confessed as much to both Rob and Andy early in the process, and I told them that even though I had taken some minor fencing lessons at acting school, it had been determined by my tutors that this was not something they thought I would ever be able to master. In the last few days before the start of principal photography, Bob and Peter explained that we had only skimmed the surface. The training would go on every day during the shoot. Unlike the other actors, we would not have the luxury of any downtime. If you have a single free moment, we're putting a sword in your hand, they promised. And they weren't kidding.
I don't know, but sometimes I feel like we don't give actors enough credit for their hard work. The things that look so seamless are the things that just take so much practice and so much effort, and you just don't know all the hard work that goes behind the scenes. I thought that was pretty amazing. I'm not doing it justice describing it here, to be honest, because Cary does it so much better. I mean, he is just so charming. The second item that I was really touched by was Wally Wallace's insecurity towards being cast as Vizzini, I think. I'm not familiar with the movie or the book. This is my first experience into the book, and it's only because I'm a big fan of Cary's. I bought a special edition that is just beautiful and illustrated and has not 1, but 2 introductions by William Goldman, the screenwriter and the author of the book. Yes. He is that obsessed with this story. This is actually his favorite project, so I'm not surprised. So Wally Wall heard through the grapevine that he was the number 2 pick, and that really affected him. Throughout the whole production, he felt insecure, and the first actor that they actually considered, or that he was told was considered, was Danny DeVito.
His uncertainty? It wasn't a case of the first day heebie-jeebies that I had suffered, but a real fear that he was going to be replaced. Apparently, Wally had heard from somewhere that Rob had wanted another actor to play the role of Vizzini, and the rumors left him with something of an inferiority complex, as well as a near crippling case of the jitters during production.
I knew I was wrong for the part because for whatever reason, I'd been informed by someone in my agency that it had first been offered to Danny DeVito and then to Richard Dreyfuss, and that they both turned down the part.
He credits his performance in part to Danny DeVito, part to the director, and in part to himself. So it was like a combination of the 3. And I see that because he is a bit more understated than Danny DeVito. I mean, come on, Clueless? He's totally that professor. The third part was basically everything that revolved around Andre the Giant.
Memory did not do him justice. He had to be standing there in front of you, blocking the sun or enveloping your hand in his like an adult taking the hand of a baby, before you really got a sense of what it meant to be in the presence of this impressive human being. Goldman said he was like the Pentagon. No matter how big you're told it's going to be, when you get close, it's bigger. Each day when he walked on the set was like being reintroduced to one of the 7 wonders of the world.
But specifically, there was one scene. The rescue scene, I think you guys will all know, if you're Princess Bride fans.
I guess not very long. As soon as he delivered that line, there issued forth from Andre one of the most monumental farts any of us had ever heard. Now, I suppose you wouldn't expect a man of Andre's proportions to pass gas quietly or unobtrusively, but this particular one was truly epic. A veritable symphony of gastric distress that roared for more than several seconds and shook the very foundations of the wood and plaster set we were now grabbing onto out of sheer fear. It was long enough and loud enough that every member of the crew had time to stop what they were doing and take notice.
And that sent everybody laughing hysterically for what seemed like ever. It was really hard for Cary to compose himself, so he finally turns to the director and says, "Hey, help me, I am having such a hard time with this." Like any true leader, he took a step back and he actually composed himself well before everybody else did, and he was like, "Well, just think about it. Just think about what your life would be like if this happened to you all the time." Honestly, how would life be like if you were constantly having to deal with stuff like that? People laughing for a few seconds isn't a big deal, but when people have prolonged reactions to it, that's when it becomes an issue. At least that has been my experience. So yes, I highly recommend this audiobook. I think everybody who is a Princess Bride fan or who has any remote interest in this movie or book should pick up. This is probably my favorite book of this year that I've listened to or read or everything. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a big thumbs up and subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until next time, I'll see you very, very soon. Bye.